Hi, I'm your boy Terry, and today I grew older. If you're here, I implore you to please stay tuned for the entirety of this video. Let it be known that even for once in this lifetime, you brought out opportune time for the sole sake of paying attention to the person of Terry. In this particular video, I will discuss everything. It constitutes a Ulogacy, my Ulogacy, that amongst other things, in case I'm not here, someone can see of these things and continue the motion. I'm your boy Terry. My username across the internet is Surpassinggoogle. And that name has grand significance, even in terms of world adjustment. This I will expatiate on over the course of this video. This video is of particular importance to me. It constitutes my being, my definition, my purpose, the histories and stories constituting Surpassinggoogle. Everything will be declared and revealed in this particular video. So if you're here, please pay attention to me, even to my undertone, and of my nonsense. Undertake a sifting of it, that you may find sense therein. In the course of doing this, evolve in your human, exercise your human virtues, that you may tap into your spirit, your being, as a result becoming capable of connecting with me on a spiritual level. This way you will get my gist. Everything that I'll declare is as difficult as 1, 2, 3. However, you may need to listen to my undertone. Pay attention to even my underlying context. There's going to be so much context involved. So, my username again across the internet is Surpassinggoogle. I will start with what Surpassinggoogle has come to mean, the established meaning of Surpassinggoogle. Then I will go on to build on the histories and stories constituting Surpassinggoogle. Again, this is my Ulogacy. Surpassinggoogle, it simply means removing all barriers to entry from everything good, so that everything good becomes available to anyone. I'll take note of anyone. So the word everyone, with a bracket in between every and one. Then in that bracket you insert an any. So that's the definition of Surpassinggoogle. And what does it entail? It entails abating half-humanism and hand-to-mouthism, fixing the rarity in the great men industry. Yes, there's a rarity in the great men industry. We fix this rarity. We surpass Google. But it's a long road. How do I accomplish all these things? How do you join in this particular motion that together we surpass Google? The answers are very, very simple. By world standards today, many things are complex. However, in reality, when many things are as difficult as 1, 2, 3, and we will elaborate on this gradually over the course of this discussion. Yes, so very simple indeed. Removing all barriers to entry from everything good, so that everything good becomes for anyone. To be able to accomplish this, I needed to do time. I have done time. You know, like they say, people that go to prison for decades are said to have done time. I'd never been behind bars. But I've been in conscious isolation the entirety of my life. I have done time. I did time to gain insight into the truest state of the world. That is of pertinence. The world is painted. It's growing ever painted. And a painted world is an unreal world. Solutions, therefore, lies in establishing the truest state of the world. For this particular reason, I had to do time. But there is more. To do time, you need extremely stubborn genes. In my case, I had to do time without an outlet for information to be revealed. However, information that is whole. Amongst the things I did thus is doing time without an outlet. To accomplish this, again, I mentioned that you need stubborn genes. To maintain and sustain stubborn genes, you have to attain full-blown humanhood. To attain full-blown humanhood, there has to be no influence from nation. So, I did time without an outlet as a full-blown human without influence from nation, amongst other things. These are some of the things I'll explain and you will understand. Again, just apply your spirit and being as you listen to me. Connect with me on that level and you'll get my gist. Yes, many of the answers aren't in the nth complex set solutions. They are in the first, simplest, obvious set solutions. You want to know what is on Bingo's mind. Simply ask Bingo. Before you undertake or embark on a journey into outer space to become an apprentice under an alien, studies veterinary psychology and all that, exhaust the first simplest, obviousest, humanly exhaustible solutions. Many answers lie there. And that was the notion in my case. Yes, knowledge had to be revealed, but in this particular case, knowledge derived from the down-to-earth spaces of Mama Earth. Knowledge contained in the no books. No books refers to N-O-B-O-O-K-S. However, for there to be a revelation of the knowledge contained in the notebooks, I had to undertake testimonially hard routes. There were many battles, many of which weren't physical. In undertaking these battles, there has got to be no outlet. To attain full-blown humanhood, I have had to exercise my human virtues, evolve in the midst of this hustle, in the midst of the inclination to look for an outlet. I'd had to use that as avenues to further evolve in my human. As I did these things, knowledge began to be revealed in stages. So, I had to spend ages in time. And in particular stages, this particular knowledge began to be revealed. The revelation of this knowledge, when it arrived, it was instant. No books involved, it was instant. However, I've done ages in time to attain of this particular knowledge. Now there needs to be a revelation of this knowledge, and this is amongst my purpose on earth. That there is a revelation of legitimate literacy that knowledge can be made whole, knowledge can be made balanced, decentralized, available to anyone, regardless of their levels of literacy, social status, just courtesy of the sole fact that they are humans. Yes, there is existence of knowledge in the current world. However, it constitutes mostly of book knowledge, outer space knowledge. Most of the books have been documented. Books are attaining a peak, a cap, a limit. There has got to be a revelation of the knowledge contained in the notebooks to complement the knowledge that exists. This way, knowledge can be balanced and available to anyone. Recall earlier that I said surpassing Google involves removing all barriers to entry from everything good so that everything good becomes available to anyone. It further goes on to involve or entail fixing the rarity in the great man industry. It further goes on to entail abating half-humanism and hand-to-mouthism. For this to be made possible, there has to be a revelation of knowledge, a completion of knowledge, a complement or a complementation, I don't know if that word exists, of the knowledge that is in existence, a revelation of the truest state of the world. It starts there. Thereafter, a revelation, there needs to be a propagation of this knowledge, but with the use of an entire curriculum. So that was the next line of action. How do you propagate this knowledge using a curriculum, without, for the most part, inculcating this knowledge, using it in the large expanse of humanity without, yes, for the most part. So there needs to be innovations emanated to bring about the propagation of legitimate literacy, knowledge derived from the down to earth. But before getting to that stage, courtesy of this particular insight, I gained insight into the truest state of the world. And that insight into the truest state of the world is very powerful knowledge. Regardless of the niche or industry or project or enterprise you are undertaking, where you include this particular knowledge in the evolution of these things, your undertaking will be grand, of testimonial essence in terms of world adjustment. Anyway, I apologize, I'm a bit disoriented. Yes, this is a result of the ordeals I've gone through, the stories and histories constituting Surpassinggoogle. When it comes to suffering, I've had to grasp suffering till I'm able to translate suffering into beautiful things. Yes, I did time, but suffering in my case was a positive. I was gifted with specific human virtues, enabling me to grasp and translate suffering into things of good, enabling me to understand life and humans, enabling me to do time without an outlet, without influence from nation. These were my gifts. However, in the physical, the routes were very hard for the human body. My human body took a beating. Besides all the spiritual battles, my physical body took a beating. My being stayed intact. My stubborn genes were unswayed. But my body did take a beating. I won't go too much into that, but I'm explaining the reason for my disorientation. not slept in years. I've lost the ability to relax, the ability to enjoy any human activity. Hence my disorientation. However, of my nonsense, you can carry out a sifting to find sense therein. Let's proceed. Yes, with insight into the true state of the world, many things became obvious. Many of the issues that constitute issues by world standards today are in reality non-issues. Of the complex mathematics, it's possible to add in some English, that once complex equations suddenly become non-equations. Yes, many of the answers began to be revealed, became as difficult as 1, 2, 3. I began to see many of the answers in the first simplest obvious solutions. On the side, I attained full-blown humanhood. This influenced my perception. I had no influence from nation. This gave me a broader perception when it comes to what I'm capable of seeing. Again, it's not entirely about looking, it's about how many things you can see. And when you have seen many things become ordinary. I saw many things. No books involved. I got to a particular stage where I stopped reading books. And then the notebooks began to be revealed in stages because I had to be ripened. That knowledge attains its intended intention. The dispensation of knowledge is valuable and timely, just specific and tangible for the particular evolution of mind that is required. Yes, knowledge, in order that it's not misconstrued, has to be dispensed in that manner. And that is what I'm trying to do over the course of this discussion. So, yes, so many things became obvious, I started to pay attention to the world and I saw many things. For example, poverty, which constitutes a big issue for the entire globe, in reality is non-existent. Not a soul made in the image of an invincible and supreme being whose name is Jehovah is truly capable of exhibiting poverty. With brains powerful than supercomputers, with the privilege of having in subjection almost the entirety of earthly creatures. Not a soul is truly capable of exhibiting poverty. It became obvious that what was missing all along was the human shine, pummeled into redundancy, in some cases due to circumstance, but in many cases due to curriculums present in today's world. These things became obvious. We lose touch with the image of the Creator. The image of the Creator that carries a measure of invincibility, power, spirit, and we become inclined to pursue other standards in relation to outer space. We lose out on the down-to-earth that is in existence right before us, the notebooks, and begin to follow people into outer space. This way, there is hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism, a cycle that permeates the world, and there are entire curricula in place to sustain this cycle. Entire nations are built to maintain the curricula that sustain this cycle in place. According to the world notion, wait till the end of tunnels to find light. How about taking light right inside tunnels courtesy of our shine. Yes. But to be able to do that, you would have had to go into these particular tunnels. Meaning that life does not revolve about the pursuit of happiness, a terminology propagated by world standards. Insinuating that you run away from things that by world standards constitute sorrow, tears, discomfort. Distance becomes nonsense, things of shame, unrevealable. Thus, much of the down-to-earth knowledge, the complexest tenets obtainable in real life, stay redundant, never come to a limelight. However, this knowledge is tangible for the collective evolution of the world at large, and hence my role in the world. Now, establishing that this cycle exists, this cycle of hand-to-mouthism and half-humanism, how do you bring about world adjustment? How do you abate or eliminate? World adjustment, it surrounds abating instead of eliminating. We cannot change the world. We can only adjust it. These things are known to a legitimate illiterate or legitimate literate. That was my undertaking, and it just became very simple. Simply establishing that poverty is non-existent. It was the human shine that was missing all along. Then it becomes obvious that reward distribution is not the solution. Yes, entire nations are built around these dynamics, the dynamic of abating or eliminating poverty. To this effect, certain nations are labeled poor, third world, developing. Yes. Now, these particular nations embrace these labels and become about these labels, looking up to, another bulk of the world as solution bringers. So let's not focus on what is in existence in the world. However, it is relevant to this discussion, as like I mentioned earlier, one needs insight into the true state of the world. Blur some of the paint. To bring about possible world adjustment. Yes, it became established that the human shine is what was missing, relegated into redundancy. Hence, we have a world filled with half-humans, and that irony not only permeates the world, but controls the entire world. In today's world, it is possible to use half a stone to influence the affairs of almost billions of people. There are entire nations where the handwriting is the same. Genes are negligible. Basically, definition, identities become negligible. In the world of today, superficial things become godlike, the sought after, the referenced, money, luxury, careers. People chase this particular superficial highs, with humans relegated in value. Every shine, every value that constitutes human is removed and given, distributed amongst these inanimate superficial things. And these things become godlike. Humans thus lose out on everything that constitutes humans. And tension becomes then a tension is stirred among humans, a never-ending tension. And anyway, I apologize, I'm a bit digressing. Let's go down to solutions now. So it became very simple. What I did as a result was to remove all barriers to entry from every human activity, bringing each human activity. Yes, staring it. Oh gosh, I'm disoriented. I apologize. Just a moment. Yes, so let's keep it simple. Now, one thing that is obvious, like I mentioned, is that things of discomfort, things of sorrow, the world is shaped around running away from these things and pursuit of happiness. However, pursuit of happiness for the most part is a marketing terminology, sustaining a cycle where humans are ever more clients. According to legitimate illiteracy, nations are merely locations. The moment we can also remove that barrier, then many things become available. Many things become available to anyone. Anyway, these things became established over the course of time as more insight began to be revealed, and then insight for solutions came about as well. So the first innovation that was, let's start here. So let's see, tears is something that the world wants to fix, eradicate tears, eliminate tears. Tears is very much associated with sadness. However, looking at it closely, what if we associate tears instead with breakthrough? Make tears a byproduct of human evolution or conscious human evolution. Yes, and without breakthrough, there are bound to be many tears, whether happy, sad, or unfelt tears. What if we began to look at tears like an emblem of human, celebratory? Then perhaps we can fix the tears with the tears. So basically, I looked at tears, understudied it, and then the solution came about. The first, simplest, obvious solution: fixing the tears with some teardrops. So that is the premise surrounding all the evolution of all my innovations and the enterprise model and algorithm that that backs these innovations, which I'll explain. So, looking at the world, words still rule the world. Let there be light. There was light. There's no embarkment or undertaking or innovation, whatever, involving human that will not involve words. So it became necessary to give more testimonial essence to content creation and content curation as a means or an avenue to incite humans to consciously mind or evolve of their human. Thus giving more testimonial essence to the art of content creation and content curation. So I looked at the state of words in the world of today. The search engines and information for the most part is static, recycled. Over time, popular information garner more popularity and becomes the measure of relevance. In the search engines, nations aren't merely locations. Nations become a factor, a deterrent or a barrier to the visibility of your content. These are some of the factors surrounding the algorithms that power the search engines. So, it became obvious that we will need to serve the search engines with content constituting human evolution that is dynamic and ever refreshing. So the simple innovation that brought about is Ulogs. Same as you know of blogs and vlogs, Ulogs is a form of content that carry down to earth paradigms, a form of content that is created fresh at every instance, constituting entirely of excerpts of humans. Now the next step is to serve these Ulogs into the search engines. Filling the search engines with fresh pieces of human per day. By means of Ulogs, it is possible to return value to human. Imagine creating content incessantly, content constituting excerpts of you in its entirety, and doing this incessantly. This way, by means of content creation, you're able to exercise your human virtues. That brain that is powerful and supercomputers, you take ownership of it. You take control of your mind. This is the same mind that the likes of Facebook and Google mine. And money, even billions in revenue seek these entities. For the most part, they put cookies in your browser, and then you emanate elements of you constituting your spirit, your being, your value, because you browse in the comfort of your home without, being wary of your surroundings, your innermost self. And they tap into these particular elements, they understudy it, process it, mine it, and then they get to know you more than you know yourself. This way they can influence you. And they can hold you accountable, become the standards, because you do not know anything about them, to hold them accountable for. Now, what if you took ownership of that particular mind? This way you begin to evolve in your human, tapping into your shine, your invincibility, your spirit. You begin to attain full-blown humanhood. And in a world filled with full-blown humans, money becomes the smaller things in these societies. Humans begin to be restored in their value. And a full-blown human is very capable of many almost invincible things. A full-blown human is in the image of the Creator, with every human virtue almost intact, a sense of justice, a sense of morality, a sense of curiosity. Endless possibilities there. Then many issues suddenly become non-issues in reality, because just courtesy on the sole fact of our value as humans, we will have conviction, deeply rooted conviction in what we constitute our definition, our dreams. And when you take such dreams to a fellow full-blown human, they will see value in you, because they themselves are testimonies to the existence of full-blown humanhood. It's just like when you're a virgin, you will believe that your wife-to-be is a possible virgin too. You will not doubt her, compared to if you're loose. Because you're a testimony to the possibility of virginity till marriage. So, that was the first innovation, Ulogs. It makes use of down-to-earth paradigms. The entire algorithm has been written and it's on GitHub. GitHub is an open source platform where you can see codes and algorithms. The entire enterprise model makes use of down-to-earth paradigms. Where Ulogs makes use of an oracle, the oracle will be allowed to have flaws, will be allowed room for evolution. This way, there can be avenues for human virtues like forgiveness and a lot of other human virtues. So down-to-earth paradigms, where it makes use of a list, it makes use of a gray list, neither black or white. the paper of it that has been written is a colorless paper, neither black or white. The platform started out on ulogs.org, though the domain is down currently because I'm in my battleless moments in life, and I'll come to that. Yes, so ulogs.org is going to be the home for ulogs. This way we can serve the search engines with ulogs. There can be a documentation of undocumented knowledge that sits as redundant information in each human. You may not know this, but perhaps after this video you will begin to see these things. In each human there is information relevant to the collective revolution of the world at large, sitting in each human, perhaps as redundant information. It's right there, dented into your shine, into your being, and the deeply rooted definition that is innate to you. However, we spend entire lifetimes swayed by curriculums of the world, never tapping into this shine, this knowledge. Now, where you're able to tap into this particular knowledge, there is the task of revealing this knowledge. That's another, whole escapade on its own. So in my case, I was able to tap into that particular knowledge, and I have begun undertaking the revelation of this knowledge. But there are battles. There will be battles because you are going spiritual. There will be battles. Now, it isn't necessary that everybody undertakes this testimonially hard route. Thus, in my case, suffering was bound to have essence, not only for generations in existence, but generations yet born. Hence, the resulting innovations. That you don't have to undertake this route. One of the innovation was ulogs.org, an innovation that incites you to ulog. So using just a regular human activity that you're familiar with, you ulog, tap into your shine in the process. An activity that you're familiar with, unknown to you, whether even obliviously, you begin to tap into your shine. You begin to attain full-blown humanhood. You begin to evolve other facets of your human that is not, incited by that you are not incited to evolve by curriculums of the world of today. World curriculums of today mostly incite you to mine of your brain, to seek knowledge, talent. But there are other facets of human that is necessary to evolve, to attain full-blown humanhood, greatness. Things like mentality. Bill Gates may have a low-level mentality, even with his myriads in book knowledge. He may not have things like swag or presence. These are other facets of human. His forgiveness level, threshold may not be fully evolved. His perception as well. So there are many other facets of human that need an evolution. This is something that ulogs will bring about, even subconsciously. It's an entire curriculum. So using one activity that is familiar and relatable to each human, that each human undertakes incessantly over the course of a lifetime. 2, as an avenue to incite humans to evolve in their human. So you want to create a content about chemistry. You're allowed to relate even your ordeals, your flaws. You're allowed to explore your mind's eyes and create new chemicals, unseen chemicals, in a form of content where flaws are allowed, where room for evolution is allowed. So Ulog carries an undis-talented paradigm. Undis-talented is a human facet or that is not celebrated by world standards today, which a Ulog celebrates. Suddenly everyone can come to further limelight courtesy of their shine as emitted in their Ulogs. Suddenly we fill the internet with fresh pieces of humans, gifting the internet of these things. Humans begin to refill the internet. Value begins to be returned to humans. Very powerful. Now, as you proceed Ulogging, it becomes a culture. You start to tap into your shine. You begin to care about the world, the true state of the world adjustment. You begin to love for real. Because in the course of your Ulogging, you'll evolve these virtues. Humanity starts to become the brother next to you. You begin to dream. You begin to innovate. Now, when you get to that stage, let's call it dream building. There are barriers to entry when it comes to dream building. Entire barriers, entire curriculums, entire nations, stand in your way. There are mountains of odds, when it comes to dream building. How do we remove barriers to entry from these aspects of human life or livelihood? Very simple. That brought about the evolution of steamgigs.org. I don't have a means to show these startups on the screen, but I'll leave it underneath in the comments, the links to these startups. The domain names are down now because all my servers aren't paid. Basically, I don't have a dime currently. But this is a Ulogacy that, in case I'm not here, someone can take it up. All my projects are open source. All the algorithms have been written. The paradigms surrounding the enterprise model for each project has been written. It's on GitHub, so you can foot the motion. My role, Steam Gigs came about. What if we created a marketplace around dream building? However, make it possible that anyone can participate. To do this, there has to be room for experts as well as non-experts. Experts, of course, can offer a service, service in relation to your dream, the evolution of your dream, in exchange for a payment. However, with the integration or allowance of non-experts to participate in this ecosystem, suddenly there becomes the availability of free services, relegating the role of money, making money the smaller things, in society. So that's one barrier to dream building in today's world: money. You can't pay for a service. You want to have a programmer write code for your project, but their barrier is money. And you can't go with your human. You're not even convinced in the value of your human any longer, to where you can go to a programmer and simply tell them of your dreams with all conviction, and they end up helping you, even just for the sole sake of playing a role in historical history as part of the evolution of your dream. So the essence of this platform is simply to emanate brother talents, to explore the world of undis-talentedness, to celebrate out of the boxness. While the world labels some people talented, untalented, there's so much talent there when someone is constantly told no, 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 and he sticks on that route. In a bid to translate countless no's into one yes. Isn't that talent? Isn't that a celebratory human virtue? Whether you call it passion, misdirected passion, there's room for such passion in the world. So we want to stir people to attempt out of the boxness, hence creating STEAMGigs.org, allowing anyone to play a role in the art of dream building. So now, non-experts can offer a service even for free or at a cheaper rate, known to clients, and in the midst of doing this are capable or able to hone their expertise. Now, integrated into the algorithm is a database collection that practically mines humans. So imagine a database filled with resumes. However, the resume has allowance for even non-experts. We collect this and we, incite you to undertake the art of dream building, even for free, even just for the sake of, being your evolution, Now, besides this, STEAMGigs has a knowledge bank, all filled with Ulogs, but Ulogs in relation to, expert knowledge. So the knowledge bank, basically you get rewarded for contributing knowledge in relation to your experience. Knowledge can contain your ordeals, your hustle, your improvisation, your human evolution, en route trying to hone your expertise. This knowledge is relevant, not only that the world can find, not only that there's a revelation of undocumented knowledge, but also, it's also tangible for the evolution of the world, courtesy of knowledge that is whole, made up of knowledge contained in the books and knowledge contained in the notebooks. Now, we spoke of the database that collects knowledge from collects resumes from experts and non-experts, and so that the platform is able to incite non-experts to undertake the art of dream building with all freedom. Now we're removing barriers to entry, bringing about billions, in the art of dream building. People that have shoved their dreams underneath the bed, they can resuscitate these dreams, keep these dreams alive, relive these dreams, because everyone has something to offer. Now, a step further, exchange of service for service. How more can we remove barriers to entry from dream building, relegate the role of money, return value to humans, where humans can have function. Not everything is for a tool to fix, or for money to fix, or for a skyscraper to fix, or for blockchain technology to fix. Where is the relevance and value in human? So we integrated something, a paradigm that allows you to exchange service for service. So you want to build a dream, let's say it's a website, an e-commerce website, and you don't know anything about coding, but you know some graphic designing, or some writing, or some proofreading. On STEAMGigs.org, you are able to offer this in exchange for coding. Now, a beautiful thing. So where in the past you were not able to build your dream because of the lack of money, humans have value now. You can go to a human, this time a brother, and offer to do their graphic design in exchange for a code. Now this way humans connect. The value of the spirit of human is restored. Humans are unordinary. We're living in a world where humans are losing out on unordinariness. You know that you're here. My spirit is involved. It's very powerful. I have unfelt tears integrated with a powerful prayers. And I do that breakdown in each of these videos to pop these things out, unknown to you. And there is a creator, Jehovah, who keeps these tears in a skin bottle, unforgotten, rewarded, in a bid to reward it. Very powerful things happen when humans rendezvous and are in a state of incessant evolution. You know, each response to stimuli has value. Each teardrop, anything that constitutes human. Many things constituting human is labeled shitty today, nonsense. However, you sift of nonsense, you can find sense therein, or at least testimonial used for good. So that was how Steam-Gaze was brought about, removing all barriers to entry from the art of dream building. Note that every activity that occurs on both Ulog and Steam-Gaze are rewarded with a digital currency, which I'll discuss later. It's called teardrops. Remember earlier, speaking of fixing the tears with the tears, it's possible. However, you need to proof the tears. Prove the tears. There has to be a model that proves the tears. How do you prove the tears? That was what stirred these innovations that I mentioned. You know, social media platforms built on blockchain technology, you know, decentralized technology that incites humans to evolve, to mine of their human virtues, and in the process, proof the tears. Because en route mining of your human, you know, en route breakthrough in human, there is bound to be many tears, whether happy, sad, or unfelt tears. We seek to reward these tears. So we'll discuss the teardrops digital currency later on in the video. The third enterprise was MacroHard. Now, in the art of dream building, there is one giant barrier, and it is the world of coding, the world of programming. Many times, the world doesn't know of these things. The world is still very novice to the complex tenets obtainable in real life. You know, it doesn't know of worlds where you are bound to surmount mountains of odds to just as much as dare to dream. You know, let alone the odds that you will have to undertake in the process of evolving your dream even into levels of spanlessness. You know, keeping your dreams alive in dream beats. You know, creating even valid illusions. You know, in order to sustain the inspiration necessary for evolving your dream. Now, we're not even talking of bringing your dream into reality. You know, just finding the vision within the dream. That entire evolution process is a large span of, there's going to be a large span of ordeals. The world doesn't know of these things, so how can it create innovations that cater to these things, that takes cognizance of anyone? You know, with a measure of legitimate literacy complementing your existent book knowledge, whatever undertaking you take on, you know, a project or whatever, it will turn out grand, powerful, grand. You know, many of the technologies today will fade, you know, become ordinary over the course of time. You know, that is where down-to-earth knowledge is of value. And this is where I come in, the revelation of this knowledge using entire curriculums. So, MacroHard came about, removing barriers to entry from the world of coding. You know, altogether knowledge is made complex, but this is preempted or preemptive measures in reality, you know, so that knowledge becomes monopolized in the hands of a few and becomes a selling point, each human a client. So looking at the world of coding, I wasn't a programmer or anything, but I paid attention to the world of coding because it is one world that has barriers to entry, that should be available to anyone, because it's an essential piece of the puzzle when it comes to bringing about your dreams into reality. So I understudied the world of coding, and as it turns out, with the application of legitimate literacy and insight from above, at a particular stage, this insight arrived. I was able to see how simple codes are in reality, made complex on purpose, broken into languages. So there's Python, there's React, there's Java, and all that. But there are other there is more layers to these barriers. There's also nation barrier. Some nations by world standards are labeled developing, third world. These paradigms or tenets affects the world of programming. So where you see a programmer from India, he has the same secular knowledge as someone in USA, and suddenly he's not deserving of the $500 that they would pay to the same developer in USA or in the West, because suddenly he's from a location that is considered third world. This way, even this developers located in these nations embrace these labels, become these labels basically a third world developer, a developing developer or programmer. So it's possible to remove barriers to entry from this field, from this human activity, and it's very simple, as difficult as 1, 2, 3. Basically remove some of these barriers, make nations as negligible as locations, merely locations. You have already removed one barrier. Add, where you have a mathematical equation, add in some English. Apply the first simplest obviousest solutions instead of jumping to the end complexest solutions. Before you get to the end complexest solutions, exhaust all the levels of obviousest solutions before getting to the end complexest. When it comes to tackling issues, creating algorithms. So I wrote a model which I call a hierarchical micro-programming. Basically, break tasks into very simple micro tasks in an order, so that the previous tasks considers the next task. To where someone undertaking a current task simply has to replicate a portion of code from a previous task. Now it's very hard, but very possible with legitimate literacy, down to earth knowledge. A Bill Gates may be able to code in the comfort of his office, Microsoft. But when you have legitimate literacy, you can code both Microsoft and macro hard, whether in an office or in the jungle. You have insight into the true state of the world, what's obtainable in certain worlds, certain societies. This way, you can evolve an enterprise model or a programming language protocol that considers anyone, just courtesy on the sole fact that they are human. So I had case studies. First of all, I had programmers who didn't even know the programming language base of my project contribute code, and it was possible. I wrote the algorithms, but using that microprogramming, hierarchical microprogramming model, and it was possible. Suddenly, you remove all barriers, the language barriers. Someone who only knew Laravel was able to contribute code to React. It's really as difficult as 1, 2, 3. Knowledge is just made complex so that it can sell. The world revolves around labels, black or white. Those two extremities. A middle ground doesn't sell, like gray. So Yes, so when you remove these barriers, then so many noble dreams will become built once again. Now, macro art. Let's talk about macro art. At the time that macro art came about, I started to undergo my battlest of times. When I talk battles, please apply your spirit. I don't mean only physical battles. I mean Job-like battles. Deep spiritual battles. I won't explain, that too much, but where you're in the spirit, you'll understand what I'm saying. That this knowledge isn't revealed, that these innovations do not come to light. I started building these innovations and got to alpha stage for ulogs.org and steamgeeks.org, and I was in the process of building macro art. But then my health deteriorated so critically. I'm up 24/7 in isolation. I don't see sunlight. I don't have leisure. I don't have the ability to relax, so I don't have the capacity to enjoy any human activity with excruciating pain all body long. My brain is always on. You may not understand these things. Besides this, the spiritual, intense battles, it came about to where my body took the height of its beating. And I became walking dead and talking dead. The moment you're able to talk, you enter into a new state of isolation and aloneness, because words aren't sufficient to explain the things in the notebooks, the things of the spirit. And just that you're able to talk gives you away as intact, potent, when in reality you're in rubble. And in the world of today, humans are losing out on unordinariness. Our perception has become blurred by the pains in existence in the world. Humans no longer garner an appeal or have value. Crypto kitties, puppies, kittens, Superman, all have more value in today's world than human. So if you're here, please listen to my undertone. Look into my eyes. You will see what is in it. Yes, so macro art. During the times I was trying to build macro art, health deterioration came about. So I had to brainstorm a solution, not of my making. I had to wait for insight. I went into isolation again, and it became established a balanced and feasible solution that will enable me recover in my health and propagate the development of my projects all at once. I live with my dad, who also has health problems. So I'll be able to continue sustaining my household, take care of my dad, because it became obvious that everything was tied to my deterioration in health. I would stay 24/7, but with 1 hour of productivity. So the solution was to start out with a physical location, a hub, where I will gather in it a base of programmers, inculcate in them legitimate literacy so that they turn out brother programmers. In the world of programming, one thing that's missing is brother programmers. We have programmers. Programmers are generic. Brother programmer, that ranks great. People that will code your dream with swag, just for the sake of playing a role in historical history as part of your dream, that will build your dream for the sake of generations yet born, that they arrive and knew that we're here. We suffered on their behalf, bore their consequences, and allowed our suffering to have essence. So the hub is meant to emanate brother programmers. Besides brother programmers, the hub will gather entrepreneurs, all walks of life, but the programmer breed So brother talents, brother programmers, and all that. In the hub, we'll create many beautiful things. Media. So many beautiful things, and as well in the hub, I have an entire school called Legitimate Literacy. I've written all the curriculums. This we will also teach in the hub. Over the course of time, we will have a base of brother programmers. These brother programmers will be allowed to hone their expertise using a hierarchical microprogramming model, in the development of my projects, ulogs.org, steamgeeks.org, and an eventual macroart social media platform for brother programmers. They will be able to hone their expertise, attain brother programmerhood in the process. So my projects will maintain life, keep on building. I'll be able to delegate tasks to the now brother programmers while I begin to take on a rehabilitation in my health. The hub will teach legitimate literacy, create media, and begin to sustain my household, resulting in some revenue. And we will have an entire consultancy made up of brother programmers offering consultancy, especially to non-programmer project owners. There's a niche missing in the world of programming. It's like an intermediary between brother programmers, between programmers and non-programmer project owners. Now the intermediary is macroart, brother programmers. Non-programmer project owners have difficulty when it comes to establishing the complexity of tasks, and this affects their capacity in terms of negotiating the price of tasks, and stalls relationships, stalls project building altogether, hampers relationships with programmers. So MacroArt will bring about a consultancy that fixes that and offers this service even for free, powered by the teardrops token. So for all these platforms, we will have a digital currency that rewards each activity. This digital currency will also reward past deeds, further relegating the value of money, where people are able to carry out human activities for this primary sake of evolving, that being the primary reward, money being secondary, only to be rewarded with the teardrops token in the future. That's powerful. Recall that our intention is to fix the rarity in the great men industry. We fix this rarity, we surpass Google. Everyone is great, but we need to have stubborn genes, especially in today's painted world. We need insight into the true state of the world so that we can establish our place and purpose in it. We need access to knowledge that is whole so that we can apply this knowledge towards our evolution. This way we can evolve other facets of us that is relevant to attaining greatness. Facets that I mentioned earlier, mentality, self-sacrifice, all those human virtues, that we had as children. We just snapped out of it as we grew older and start to imbibe the existing curriculums of the world, education and all that. So that's it. Create down-to-earth innovations, continue to emanate down-to-earth innovations. These innovations will make use of down-to-earth paradigms, down to the enterprise model, down to the dynamics of the enterprise model, the algorithms, each of these details. So the digital currency teardrops is teardrops, rewarding every teardrop with some teardrops. So it will have many uses. It will reward the programming activities from brother programmers on MacroArt, the dream building activities on steamgeeks.org, and the content creation and content curation activities on ulogs.org. It's as difficult as 1, 2, 3. These 3 platforms will prove the tiers, then reward tiers with the digital currency called teardrops. However, this digital currency has to succeed whether bulls or bears. The measure of this currency is not in price, is in the emanation of great men and women. That's it. Token carries a prayer. The digital currency carries a prayer. It's a spiritual token, an emblem of human. Each person should want to have the digital currency called teardrops. I will not be able to explain too much on the teardrops digital currency because not everyone is familiar with the dynamics of blockchain technology. But a token that takes cognizance of anyone, each human, just courtesy of the fact that they are humans. It's not tied to popularity or your social status or your levels of literacy. We've removed all these barriers, enabling each human with the capacity to attain breakthrough, then celebrate this breakthrough with the teardrops token. Disassociate tears from sadness. Many things that constitute sadness in today's world, in reality, aren't sadness. For the most part, challenges. It's just like many things carry context. Like Jesus went into the temple and disrupted the affairs there, took a whip, caused a commotion, and overturned their tables. First glance, it looks like violence. The world of today will label it quickly as violence, but underlyingly, there is intense love involved. That was his father's house, and it should not be brought to turmoil by mere humans who in reality are mere dust. So many things in reality. Sadness, that's an avenue to further evolving your human, to innovate, improvise. Whoever discovered gravity did not just go for the kill, wanting to satisfy the impulse of hunger. He started to wonder what made it fall, and then gravity got discovered. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He's justified if on the 41st day he turned stones to bread. But he was in charge of his response to stimuli, his reaction to impulse. And what's another one day of no bread? So many times it can be conscious even to take on the route of isolation for the sake of conscious evolution. The dining table, while it can be a place to cure your starvation, it's also possible to consciously choose in particular times for the sake of your evolution to try starvation. And it may turn out delicious. However, these days you don't have to undertake these routes because I have undertaken many of these routes. My suffering should have essence. The suffering of my family should have essence. For it to have essence, others should find comfort. So that's the reason for the development of all these startups, to incite humans to evolve, to incite humans to be restored to the image of the Creator. This way, many things become fixed, even a sense of morality. These things are innate to humans. A measure of invincibility is attained. Humans are restored in their value. And then are retold of the Creator and His existence. All the notion that humans spurred out of evolution can be dispelled. People can be retold of the Creator Jehovah as a result of the deeply rooted evidence of their beauty, the beauty of their creation. There are two ways to learn of the Creator: the Bible and creation. But there's one creation that is so devalued in today's world. People travel and want to see the scenery, the mountains, the monkeys, in a bid to catch a fancy. But the most beautiful of creation starts right there in front of you, the person in the mirror, the brother next to you. How can we lose that much value? And that's the essence of this video. In today's world, one has to create a graphic scene to catch attention, to ask help. The moment that you're talking, then it's just impossible that you're in a bubble. We lose out on human virtues like empathy. Like, these are the unordinary aspects of humans. Hence, humans become ordinary in today's world without an appeal. This we can fix, and it's in motion. That's the essence of this video, that it stays out there. It's going to be published also on a blockchain, which is immutable, indestructible, and has permanence. That in case I'm not here, someone can take initiative, take charge, look at all the algorithms, all my Ulogacies, and continue the motion. We can create a new internet, one filled with Ulogs, which we will create, on Surpassinggoogle.com, an internet that renews itself dynamically with information that documents the down-to-earth knowledge. Knowledge really innate to human, raw, not tainted by world standards. Knowledge that is no part of the world. The Bible verse, be no part of the world, it carries broad contexts, besides just politics. It's a very grand statement. When you're able to evolve in this world as no part of the world, your perception instantly has an unordinary edge. You will see many things. And again, when you have seen many things become ordinary. Now, so that's the stage that I'm in. I've lost everything to do with productivity. My brain is tired. I don't have a life really, and I really want to solve this. That is why I really want that at the very least you are here till the end of this video. All I want to do in recent times is to set up an office, a physical hub office from where many beautiful things will stem forth. All my projects will continue in their development. Instead of looking for, I want to be in the stories and histories constituting Surpassing Google, the evolution, development of all these projects. That's why I've not taken a partnership. I've not considered a partnership. I want to establish the vision within the dream and build it first so that the base is intact. And the potency of these projects in terms of directing the masses of billions to the Creator Jehovah stays intact. The moment I partner at this particular stage, I won't be able to shape that, and the potency of this project in terms of redirecting people to the Creator Jehovah will not be attained. Hence, much of my suffering. Yes, I'm in times where I don't have a dime because I lost health and my productivity level died, and I cannot, generate an income and all that, and all the money I've had, applied towards my startups and towards sustenance finished. Yet, my stubborn gene still holds sway, because for the sake of these projects, because these are beautiful gifts, all the insights surrounding the evolution of these projects and the models guarding these projects was insight from above, so that it attains its full-blown intention. I have to build at least complete the alpha stage of development of these projects. Then I can go into partnership in the near future for beta. But at that stage, the vision within the dream is made eminent, courtesy of the platforms, the startups. All the dynamics and paradigms are already in place, the algorithms. Then I can go into a partnership. Ulogs can become known across the globe. You know of blogs, you know of vlogs. Many people are bloggers, many people are vloggers. People can become Uloggers, and the beauty of it is anyone can become a Ulogger. The projects are not of my making, they're very spiritual. There's deep prayer involved, deep battles involved. It's not a coincidence that Ulog, as simple as it is, wasn't found. You know, where the letter U stands for you, basically. You know, teardrops, the digital currency that will reward proof of tears, is not in existence. This is something a large expanse of humans do, cry. But nobody has looked in that direction. It's not a coincidence. You know, to be able to attain this insight, the rare intel necessary for the evolution of these projects, you would have needed to do time without an outlet, without influence from nation, and a lot of battles and prayers and all that. And you know, you'd have had to stick in the road, because the knowledge will not come at once. It will come in stages. You have to be prepared in all capacity for each stage for this knowledge to arrive. You have to be made ripe. And to be made ripe, you need to exert your human virtues. You know, where there's discomfort, you stay there. You know, use it as an avenue to further evolve your human virtues, and you attain a new notch or level of full-blown humanhood till you become ripe for knowledge. And when the knowledge comes, it's insight. It comes at once, and it's just encoded into your DNA. You become about it. No books involved. Now, I'm saying these things because you have capacity for this particular, you know, to find that knowledge as well if you want to undertake that route, but you will need certain gifts, certain human virtues. If you don't have that, it's hard to undertake these routes. So now that I've undertaken this route from my own suffering to have essence, these are the beautiful things. There has to be a translation of this suffering into beautiful things, hence the beautiful innovations that will stir the world at large to further evolve in their human and re-tap into their shine, re-attain the image of the Creator, and be retold of the Creator Jehovah. That is my purpose. Now, if you establish that this is my purpose, perhaps you'll understand the battles I talk about. Many of these things cannot be mentioned. Cannot be mentioned. Because words aren't sufficient. You know, there aren't weighty. There needs to be new words written. I have my own language. You know, when you say speak in tongues, I do have my own language. Perhaps I'll write the language that can express the things that I mention. I have an entire school called Legitimate Illiteracy, a bulk of reality TV shows which will, you know, stem forth from the Macro Hard Hub. Many beautiful innovations, all down to earth. You know, the world is attaining a cap when it comes to innovation, technological advancement. Very soon it will return down to earth. Right now it's in outer space, sorting after every superficial thing. You know, it's scary where the world is headed. You know, it's really scary. But artificial intelligence after blockchain, then attempts at human robots, then attempts at human clones. After the attempt at human clone, what next? That's a peak. There's nothing else you can create. You know, a level of consciousness will be attained then, and the world will begin to shift its paradigms and return down to earth, seeking things like greatness, which is in the down to earth. It's not in outer space. You know. So let me stop here. This is 84 minutes. It's shockingly long, but it's a Ulogacy, and you know, if you have loved me, then you'll undertake the journey of listening to me, paying attention to my undertone. You'll bear my consequence in listening to this video. It's the least you can do. On the day when I grew older, and my battles, gosh, it's too much. So that's all I want to do. I want to create a hub. You can help me. I'll put all the links. Maybe an easy way to do it is by going to my Patreon. It's Surpassinggoogle. Underneath, you can go there. There will be a link that you can join with. There I reveal knowledge in the form of videos and verses of legitimate literacy. So there's a lot to gain. What you can do is you can subscribe to support the projects, all my projects, monthly, maybe $5, $1, whatever you're choosing. In return, you will have access to me. I can give you knowledge related to legitimate literacy for any of your undertaking, whether it's a project, you're facing an ordeal, you're looking for the ever missing piece of your puzzle. I can give you specific legitimate literacy tangible for these findings. So you'll be able to contact me there, as well as support the setup of the Macro Hard Hub. Yes, I grew older. This is the least you can do. At the very least, I would like you to watch this video and share as far-reachingly as possible, offline and online, home and abroad. And if you have ever believed in me, this has been it. It's not a joke. I've not been joking all along. I've been serious, caring, pondering, wondering, loving this world. I became extremely loving in the face of all cruelty. I became extremely loving. Caring about generations yet born, world adjustment. I'm your boy Terry, and I'm surpassing Google. Together we will surpass Google. I pray for life and health, because I don't see things the way you may see things. I don't see life and the way a regular person my age sees life. I've seen many things, and when you have seen many things become ordinary. I've seen many things. Today, I want to also use this day to remember my mom. She passed away after 5 years of not seeing her. She knew I was on a journey to surpass Google. She understood. I used to turn to her. Even though she could not grasp everything, she would listen. She had conviction in my journey, and she let it be. Thank you very much, Wilma Ajayi. Right now, I almost don't have a soul to turn to in the entire globe. I'm seen as weird, odd. Even just to explain my state of health. Even if you go to a doctor, you're told you're well, and they can't grasp things that I talk about, however simple these things are. These days we're inclined towards outer space, complex stuff. That's why the simple things are suddenly complex. So and my dad, who I would have liked to turn to in these times, is ill. So, and I have my sisters. I'll use this period to shout out to them. They've borne. I know that I'm hard as a brother. Some of the things about me aren't understood, but they stick with me as sisters. This is a special shout out to them and everyone that has believed in me. This is an opportunity and avenue to believe in me once again. It's not entirely about money. It's about your investment. You, your spirit, your value, your being, your tears, your prayers on behalf of me. That's what I seek. Money is the smaller things. Money should seek humans. Money would seek you. In a world filled with full-blown humans, money is the smaller things. You're to look at money, it loses its gaze, and come to Papa wants to be hosted by you. Money is the smaller things. I don't share the popular view when it comes to money. That's why many times I'm in isolation. When money is nothing, it's not if you want money, if that's what you want, I'm open to a discussion, a consultation, and we'll talk of a regimen that you will take. Only 6 months, and you'll get the money that you want. It will start to seek you. I may be having battles, but you don't have the battles that I have, so you have more freedom. Let's have you fly. contact me and let's do a small consultation. So it's getting to 90 minutes long. What can I say? So yes, if you want to read about me, there's going to be a publication underneath this video that you can read more about me. When you read, please apply your spirit and being. Many things are unordinary. You're seeing just a boy here. Who knows? You just may shake my hand or give me a pat on the back or something, and breakthrough comes about. These dynamics do exist. The world is novice to these things, but it does exist. And I'm testimonies to this. So I'll stop the video here. Thank you very much for being here on this particular day. I grew older. I've never tasted happiness the entirety of my life, but hopefully Jehovah will grant me grace and just keep me living, and especially help restore my health. And just perhaps there will be breakthrough in terms of my experience in happiness. I know I would, where my projects come to life and I see people finding their shine and meeting lights, tunnels beginning to find light courtesy of the shines of fellow human, the collective shine of fellow human. Then I will be happy. People start to call the name Jehovah, redirected to him, courtesy of my small good. They are retold of the beauty of the creation and the existence of a creator. Then I'll be happy. Until then, you have avenues to invest in me, help me, with your prayers. Where you say a prayer, my amen is on default. I'm your boy Terry, and that is proving. Whether bulls or bears, lorry loads of money will not sway me. In my definition, my substance is deeply rooted. And the circumstance cannot sway it. I am testimony to this. I have done time. And consciously, without an outlet, my conscious undertaking. Let's stop here. I love you, and I'm not talking of mediocre meaning of love. Love is deep things. It's very complex, self-sacrificing, puts the interest of others first, cares about the world, the generations yet born. So when I say it, it's hefty, matter, has weight, and occupies space. I'm your boy Terry once again. Make sure to stay awesome.